Hi, good morning, everyone. So, my name is Isa Muhammad Ali from the Tanzania AI community. What we've seen is that a lot of artificial intelligence development on the continent is being driven by communities. These are communities of practice. These are informal youth groups that are coming together and deciding that we want to build cool things. Pardon my language, but we want to build cool shit. That is a lot of what's happening in Africa. It's being driven by small communities out of universities, out of informal gatherings of a bunch of youth who are like, this technology is cool. Let's see what we can do with it. And slowly those communities go from one small group of 5 to a group of 10 to a group of 600 to a group of thousands. And that's what the drive is happening in Africa when it comes to artificial intelligence. We need to recognize a lot of these communities. My community is one such that started off as a very informal group of people that gathered in a room from a startup accelerator that decided, why not? Let's give these kids some space to talk about their tech things. Let them be nerds about it. And now we are a nonprofit that is supported and funded by the Gates Foundation, by Meta, by UNESCO. And did we know what we're doing? Not really. Do we know what we're doing? Not really. But we've learned over time how to bring these groups together. As we stand, we're over 650 members across the country, including diaspora, 80% of which are below the age of 30. If we talk about below 35, that's almost 90% of this community being youth, being young people who are interested in building their skill and talent and capacity, and more importantly, applying the technology in spaces that they're interested and passionate about. As a quick intro to the organization, our goal is to enable responsible AI. We call ourselves an ecosystem builder. What that means is we are a lot harder to get funding for because very few people want to fund the development of ecosystems because measuring the impact of such is very difficult, but that is what is necessary because every time we look at AI strategies and policies and look at all the pillars they cover, it's building the ecosystem. We're all at that young stage where one single area is not enough to invest in. We need to invest in the entire value chain of AI in Africa. Compute is necessary, data is necessary, talent is necessary, funding is necessary. There is no just one area that we can invest in. And that's what happened to us. We started as a community of youth who just wanted to build cool things. From there, we started being invited into policy meetings and strategy meetings. Suddenly, we are a group of youth that are advising governments on building their national policy and strategy. This small group is suddenly being invited to Nigeria to advise on their AI policy. And we're like, okay, this is gaining a lot more traction than we thought. And now we're part of Tanzania's national AI strategy development team. That is the power of communities. We're talking about EU AU research and innovation and increasing the collaboration. A specific case study that we did called Twiga. This is an open source tool to support teachers in public education. We collaborated with a student from the KTH University in Sweden. They reached out to us randomly over LinkedIn, I think, and were like, hey, I want to do something in Tanzania in education. I don't know what I want to do, but I want to do it. We're like, sure, come on over. We're a community. We're not that formal. Come down. We'll figure it out. They came down. We said, hey, here's what the ecosystem of education looks like. If you're thinking of building a website or a mobile app, don't. Getting people to use apps and websites in our context is not fun. But what about using WhatsApp as a delivery channel, social media platforms? Because whether informally or formally recognized, social media is what's driving commerce and engagement in Africa. The day Meta and Facebook went down for those couple of hours, the amount of impact our digital economies had was immeasurable. We have entire businesses and communities and developers that are built on these platforms. But when we try to explain this to American or European counterparts, the first reaction we get is confusion. Like, you run your government communications over WhatsApp. When COVID was going on and vaccinations were happening, the way we would update changes to the number of people that were being vaccinated was a WhatsApp group where the database administrator was in the WhatsApp group collecting all the messages from everyone and updating the database. Official groups and communications are happening through social and informal community channels. So why don't we leverage this? So bring in partners from the EU. We began developing this tool, and we got support from Meta to continue developing it as an open source tool. And it's entirely available on GitHub. Anyone can build on top of it. We welcome more collaboration. And we just signed an MOU with the KTH AI Society, a group of very passionate students from the university, to continue building this with students from Tanzania, from Africa. We have a Discord channel running that's open to everyone. And we've reached a stage where we are signing an MOU with the Ministry of Education to roll out this tool in public schools and to continue developing it with them. All of this began from a community of practice, a group of 20 to 30 people who are like, let's see where this can go. And that's what we want to continue to explore. How can we create and support a bridge between the African and European AI talents, startups, and SMEs? We're seeing a drive where startups, SMEs, nonprofit organizations want to leverage AI, but they don't necessarily know where to start, and they don't have the funding resources to invest in new research and development. On the other hand, we have students who are building their skill set and capacity in Europe, in Africa. A lot more institutions are formalizing their AI capacity, their ability to give formal training in artificial intelligence. But they don't have projects that they're particularly interested in working on, or they're open to anything. Why don't we bridge these two and create opportunities for SMEs, startups, organizations that want to build their AI with these students, provide them with a mentorship, provide them with a compute ability and credits that are becoming a lot more available. And there's a rise of local compute. Cassava and NVIDIA recently announced the AI factories that are being developed. The G42 is developing a $1 billion data center in Kenya. There's a lot more of this becoming available. All that's really required right now is a bit of connection. And that's what we're working on, bringing together this capacity and connection to allow more development. We did it with a project called Twiga. Twiga is now gaining a lot more momentum and scaling and supporting actual teachers in public school environments to be better at serving their students. We're not interested in replacing the teachers. We're interested in augmenting their capacity when they have to serve a classroom of 100 students. If we can make their workload easier in preparing assignments and preparing their lesson plans so that they can focus more on their students. So we have these initiatives going on. The two main takeaways are, first, for those interested in the technical side, Twiga is open source, is available on GitHub for anyone who's interested in contributing to the development or scaling it up in a different country or context. We've built it in such a way that it acts as a framework that allows you to plug in your own local curriculum so that it can be adapted to a different country's context. It is built around the local curriculum. And two, the incubator concept for the SMEs and startups. We've already started pushing this with different institutions, both locally, internationally, in both Europe, Tanzania, and India. If there's anyone here who's interested in building this incubator with us, in creating opportunities for SMEs, startups, and nonprofits to build their AI capacity, we're very much interested in partnering. Communities are all about doing things together, about the value exchange between the members in the community. So we very much look for collaboration to build a much more sustainable pipeline and scalable pipeline for all of these companies to really enable their AI development and for the talents to contribute to it. Thank you so much.